Welcome to the Aledo Bearcats Coaches Show podcast, a presentation of Real Country 92.1 Hank FM and NTXVarsitySports.com. Live from Parker County Brewing Company in Willow Park. The Aledo Bearcats Coaches Show podcast is brought to you by H5 Sports Barn in Aledo and Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. And now, here's the voice of the Bearcats, Kevin Lonnquist.
Hello and welcome to the Aledo Coaches Show podcast. I'm Kevin Lonnquist. We are at Parker County Brewing Company, just off of Ranch House Road here in eastern Parker County. We will bring you every podcast from this location throughout the 2025-26 school year. And as always, we want to thank our two main sponsors between H5 Sports Barn and Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. We continue to appreciate their support of this podcast as well as Aledo Athletics. We also want to remind you that NTXVarsitySports.com is the home for streaming for both Aledo playoff softball and baseball. It continues this week. Started with softball last week. Lady Cats are still with us. That's a good thing. Baseball begins this week as well. And we do have the ability to split up the streaming mechanism so you can listen to both on the same night. It's a simple click on the NTXVarsitySports.com homepage. Just go to that homepage, find the broadcast you want to follow, and you'll be able to follow the Bearcats or Lady Cats or both. And so that's the strength of NTX. Lady Cats softball had to grind out another series against Birdville, but did so 1 in 3 games. And of course, that's nothing new against Birdville. Aledo won the opener last Thursday at home 2-1, lost at Birdville on Friday 7-3, and you can hang that on me. I'll get to that as why here in a moment. Then won the deciding game on Saturday in Kennedale, 10-0 via the run rule in 6 innings. Lady Cats are 25-10. They move on to the area round to take on 15 and 14 Pascal, and you would know it because I got the person who knows how to flip a coin. Not really. It's a one-game playoff, a 7 o'clock first pitch at Saginaw Chisholm Trail on Wednesday, not Thursday because of the uncooperative weather forecast. Doesn't look good for Thursday. Really doesn't look good for Friday. Baseball opens its run toward making back-to-backs 5A Division I state championships this week. A best-of-3 series with Colleyville Heritage, if I can say it right. These two met in the regional finals last year. Aledo rallied to win 2-1. This is the third consecutive year for these two programs to meet in the playoffs. Aledo won the area playoff series in 2024, 2-1, same like they did last year. Had to rally to win that series 2 years ago. All those games will be at Mansfield Summit. Thursday's game at 7:30, Friday at 7:30, and then the possible deciding third game at 1 o'clock on Saturday. But this is all subject to change because the coaches from both teams are meeting Tuesday morning to determine next steps. Possibility that opener will be played on Wednesday as well. As for the Bearcats last week, they finished the regular season with a sweep of Azle, 3-2, and then 18-5. Aledo was 28-3, and in the 3-2 win, head coach Chad Berry, career win number 400. Colleyville Heritage is 12-14-1. As for the NTX Varsity Sports coverage, Parker Burroughs has the softball game on Wednesday. Yours truly will begin the baseball series with the Bearcats and the Panthers. Then Parker Burroughs will come back to do however the rest of that series will line up between the Bearcats and the Panthers. Pre-game shows, though, for both softball and baseball will begin 15 minutes before each first pitch. Again, you will have access to both games, so please spread the word to fans, out-of-state family, and anyone else to tune in. 2-segment podcast for you. We start with softball. We have head coach Heather Myers, shortstop Delaney Rosser, and pitcher Tempe Perry with us. Then it's baseball's turn with head coach Chad Berry, along with shortstop Landon Barnes and first baseman Jackson Lewis. Okay, congratulations, and I think the key, as I mentioned, the beginning was changing the play-by-play announcers out from Friday night. So you can hang the L on me for that since I called the game. But seriously, the way your team bounced back on Saturday in Kennedale. The one thing that I noticed is when I wrapped up on Friday was after the post-game handshake and that was over, you brought your team out to the right field area to kind of speak with them. So what was kind of your message to them after that?
Well, it was kind of simple. I told them it didn't matter if the pitchers missed every pitch, if the defense couldn't catch any balls. If we don't hit, we're not going to win. Mm-hmm. And they agreed. I mean, we're a good hitting team, and that was a great pitcher that we faced, and she shut us down. She did a really good job. So the goal going into Saturday morning was to be more disciplined at the plate, don't chase balls out of the zone, and just be the hitters that we know we are. So they took it to heart. But they also play well when their backs are against the wall. They always have.
Okay, and Delaney, I want to ask you because, the one thing I noticed about Reagan Jordan is the fact that her command on Friday wasn't ideal. I think she actually walked more than she struck out. I think she had 4 walks, 3 strikeouts to end the game. But it just seemed like when she needed to make a pitch, she did. Take us through what you saw from start to finish on Friday.
Yeah, Reagan, she's a really good pitcher, and I'll give her that. She truly is. We've seen her. I know I've seen her since my sophomore year. I've faced her sophomore year, junior year, and now my senior year. She does take command in the circle. In big moments, she makes big plays. And like I said, on Thursday, she struck me out, and I'll give it to her. She made those pitches. She knew that inside pitch wasn't something I was swinging at on Thursday. So then she knew in that game on Friday she was going to throw me with that inside pitch, and then I took command over her, and then I did my job with that pitch. I think she just knows. She learned stuff very well, and I think we also learned that. She learned my weakness on Thursday, and then I went and took advantage of it on Friday. And then as Game 3 rolled around, we all took advantage of it and got the 10-0 win.
Yeah. A game of adjustments, if you will.
Absolutely.
Tempe, I want to ask you, is it easy for you all to flush a game like Friday? Because you gave up the 2 runs in the first inning, and then they hit you with the 5 spot in the 5th inning to take control of this thing. Was it easy, though, mentally for you guys to put that one away and come back on Saturday, as opposed to potentially losing a game like 2-1, 3-2 in the late innings, or failing with the bases loaded or something like that?
I mean, we definitely talked about whenever we went into the outfield and right field after the game, and for us, like, the leaders on the team definitely spoke up in that moment. It was more of a team conversation than a coach's team conversation, and us leaders took a role, and we were just talking about how it's already past us, we can't change it, and we're just going to use it to move forward and get better and just learn from the mistakes that we made in that game, and we were just going to capitalize on them the next day, and we weren't going to make the same mistakes. And so we went into that conversation just using it as fuel for the next day, and just we weren't going to be complacent with the loss. We were just going to move forward and be better.
Okay. It's not unusual to go with one pitcher for a series. We see that a lot in softball. Coach Myers, you did that with Tempe, of course. At Birdville, of course, they did that with Reagan Jordan. You have several good arms on this staff, of course, and so when you go into a decision like that to stick with one arm, even though you've got choices to make, is it a gut feeling? Is it just a matchup situation? Or how do you determine that as you're going through a series, especially knowing that you had to make a pitching decision to start Game 3?
A lot of times it's a gut feeling, but I felt like Tempe's spin and everything that she was throwing was more effective in the moment. So that's why we went with Tempe Game 3 and brought her back in Game 2, because she has a really good ability to keep hitters off balance, and that's with good hitters and good teams. The goal is to keep them off balance, and I think she does a really good job. So that's why she was chosen for those games.
Okay, Tempe, I want to ask you, there's always that sense of urgency. What was different for you about starting Saturday than coming in relief on Friday? Because it's a different environment. I mean, you're coming into a game on a Friday where it's already down 10-0, and you're trying to just put out the fire and get the team to the next inning. You start from scratch like you did on Thursday, like you're doing on Saturday. So take us through the mindset of how you're mentally preparing for those 2 starts, Thursday and Saturday, as opposed to coming in, you can't think, you just got to go and do it on Friday.
For sure. We were working with a pretty tight zone throughout the series, so just letting my defense work behind me was really important, and just making the pitches count, and each pitch really matters in a 3-game series, especially whenever we knew that we were going to be throwing multiple innings on multiple days. So just capitalizing on each pitch and taking it pitch by pitch, and not trying to waste pitches, because obviously we were trying to capitalize in big moments. And definitely getting the start on Thursday and Saturday kind of lit a fire under me. I just come out with a lot of fire and a lot of energy, which I think my defense feeds off of for sure. Mm-hmm. And coming in on Friday, I was just having my teammates back, like, for sure. We just have each other's back, and that's really important on this team. We are there for each other no matter what. When our jersey number is called, we're there to help each other out. And I looked at Lily whenever I went on the mound on Friday, and I said, I will get us out of this no matter what. I got your back. Mm-hmm. Tell me what you know about the umpire. Tell me what you know about the hitters today, because obviously hitters change on a day-to-day basis. So let me know what you know about the umpire. So we talk to each other in those big moments like that, and just being there for my team is really, really important in those moments. I'm
kind of curious, though, in Saturday's start, because pitchers can have a great bullpen and then have nothing when they go to the circle. Or they can have nothing in the bullpen and then they go to the circle and they have everything working. So take us through your prep and before you got out on the mound in Kennedale, and what it was like preparing. Was it everything clicking from the first pitch, or how was it for you leading up to that first pitch?
I mean, we work so hard in the fall, and I know a lot of us play travel ball in the summer, so we're preparing for these moments, not only the day before or the week before or 2 weeks before when we're watching film. We've prepared all year for this, and those moments, you just trust in your preparation. We talked about this. Our manager actually talked about this the other day. We trust in our preparation. In every sport, you work really hard throughout the years, and you just have to trust yourself, trust your body, trust your mechanics and everything that you're learning and stuff like that. So you never really go, you're never like, oh, I had a bad bullpen or whatever. You're just learning from those moments, and we've been preparing for a really long time. So I was just trusting in my defense and trusting that I could get the win for our team because it was really important to move forward. I mean, me and Delaney had a conversation. She said, this could be my last game. And I said, if I have anything to do with it, it will not be your last game. I will not let it be your last game because we're going to go into this game with lots of fire. And that's what we came out with. We came out with fire from the first pitch. And that's very important in this game.
Okay, but I'm curious, though. What did you think of your stuff, though, when you were throwing your bullpen before you went out there on Saturday?
I actually told Coach I felt better in Game 3 than I did in Game 1. So I felt really warm. I felt really loose. I mean, it was probably 100 degrees on the turf. So I think it's easier to pitch in the heat because your arm is looser. But I just was trusting in my stuff, and I felt really good in the bullpen, and I felt really good in the morning of. So.
All right, Delaney, huge series for you. This is what she did. 4 out of 9. That's a 444 batting average, so that's not bad. Pair of home runs, that's not bad. 3 RBIs, that's not bad either. That's about as locked in as you would want to be at the plate, and that's exactly what you want from your leadoff hitter. But you talk about that first and just what you saw in that series because, well, 2 of your hits left the yard, so.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a leadoff, I know we talked about it, me and Coach Myers at the beginning of the year, like my job is to get on base. And if I get into those situations where I have runners on, I know my job is to score those runners. So going into this series, mainly knowing that I am a senior and I knew we were having a really tough matchup round 1, I was like, I'm not going to let this be my last. I'm going to play like this could be my last ever playoff game because who knows that it'll end at some point, no matter what. Hopefully we're ending on a win. So just going into this series, I knew I was going to give absolutely everything that I had into these games and everything. And every at-bat, I learned something new. And knowing Reagan, knowing what she was going to pitch, I think I was prepared in that. And I was also telling my teammates, they were letting me know new stuff. And just going in as, I've got this. Like, I don't know, it kind of happened.
Okay, the home runs you hit Friday and Saturday, this is a typical reporter's question that asks the batter on the home runs. What pitch did you get on each one of those?
So the first one, honestly, I can say it was an outside pitch, and I kind of just pulled it to left field, and then that was on Friday, and then Saturday she threw me that inside pitch. I was ready for it. I knew it was going to happen. I'm pretty sure on that one it was like a 3-1 count or something, and she just threw it to me. She gave me that inside pitch, and I just saw it and took it out of here.
Your eyes light up when it goes to 3-1. Then when you got a hitter's counter, that gives you so much leverage because you know she's got to come in with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was ready for it. I knew she was going to give me something to hit on 3-1. Reagan's the type of person that I know she probably wouldn't want to give up a walk in that situation. She had just given up a home run to Braley right before me. Mm-hmm. And so I knew she was probably either going to try to get me out in that point. So I knew a strike was coming. I was ready for it. Okay.
When you put her in the leadoff spot, I think we might have talked about this the first time you were out here, but what you've seen from her in this series is that this is exactly what you would want from your leadoff hitter, but has it gone beyond what you expected from her?
You know, Delaney's always been disciplined. Even as a freshman, she was a disciplined hitter. To see the maturity over the years, that's how when Addie Perry graduated last year, we knew we had a need for a leadoff, and Delaney was the first one. And it's because of her maturity and because of her discipline. And at the beginning, we did have a conversation because she was swinging at some first pitch, needed to get on more. So we had a conversation. And with Delaney, it's always been, I can't speak highly enough about this kid because I ask her, I say one time, and she implements it immediately. It's incredible to watch. So I had one conversation, and from that point forward, she's led the team in on-base percentage. Nobody has usurped her in on-base percentage, which is incredible for a leadoff hitter. So yeah, she's always been incredible to me, but that exceeded my expectations for sure.
Okay, Delaney signed with Stephen F. Austin down in Nacogdoches. Congratulations to you on that. I do want to ask you, though, about making the move on the infield from second base to shortstop this year. Now, Did you feel like this was going to be a pretty seamless transition for you? Did it take some getting used to? Obviously, the big difference is the throw. You got the shorter throw at second base. You've got the longer throw from shortstop, especially if you've got to go to the hole, which you made a couple of great plays that I saw on Friday and that sort of thing. So, but just talk about that adjustment, that making from second to short, because it's not as easy as some people think it is.
No, it's definitely not as easy, but I've been playing middle infield my whole life. It's just been second nature to me to always just play interchangeably shortstop and second base. Learning from my shortstops in the past, like I had Anna and I had Marina. Like I've always had a shortstop to look up to and to watch. And so seeing that, knowing the throw is different. In travel ball, I play shortstop and I've played second base. So I've always known like the differences. And in high school ball, it is a little different because every team is different. But I think honestly, it's been kind of that change that I've just been used to, just because I've played middle infield my entire life.
Okay, mechanically, does the arc of the throw from shortstop change from what you were doing at second base in terms of where your arm angle is?
It does. I think more of my arm slot angle changes because at second base, I threw more of a sidearm just so I didn't light up my first baseman with my throws. And so shortstop gives me that little edge just to throw the ball a little bit harder and quicker because I know I have to be faster.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about the deciding 8-run explosion in the 6th inning on Game 3 out in Kennedale that eventually became the run rule part of this game. Big error by Birdville really fueled that rally. You talked about it a moment ago. Braylee Meyer broke it open with the 2-run shot. Then you follow her back-to-back. Those are fun when you go back-to-back. Yeah. So I drew that up. I knew that was coming all the time. But I mean, that error, though, but I think what you have to feel like is that when they got the break on the air, that's when they really kicked the door in. What did you see from the way that air just kind of fueled the whole inning?
Well, it helped us for sure.
Right.
But I mean, they had a spark. The spark didn't leave them. I think they just looking for that open door. And then when Birdville gave it to them, they weren't going to let it shut, And then the coach coming out and calling the timeout, and it just kind of, you saw their team deflate a little bit when they called Kylie safe at second. And so from that, we just kind of kept tacking it on. So we also started hitting the ball where they weren't, which we stopped popping out, swinging at better pitches, and got balls where we needed them to go so we could score. So.
All right, Tempe, you're in the middle of this rally here in the sixth inning. Just take us through your at bat, what you saw there.
So in the 6th inning, we had seen her about 8 times in the series. So honestly, we had seen everything she'd thrown, and so we were just going out there just with flow and ease. We had been practicing all week with the spin and the different speeds of pitches. And so we were just ready to capitalize on their mistake because they made a couple mistakes, and we said it was going to come down who made the most mistakes in that game. And we capitalized on that mistake, and we were able to fuel on that. Okay, the 2-run home run that Braylee hit that broke this thing open, what did that do for this dugout? Because I think it made it 7-0 at the time. But what do we see a lot of body language here where you guys are here and they're down here? Or how did you just take us through that moment? So we definitely fueled on it, and it was a moment where we were able to rattle them a little bit. We were able to take away like a little bit of their spark that they had during the game. We were very energized on defense, so that home run really sparked our offense because we had going into the game, we only had 7 hits in 2 games, and that's unlike our offense, honestly. And so in that 6th inning, I think we had 8 hits in that one inning. We had 3 hits going into the 6th inning, and we had 8 hits in that 6th inning. So that home run definitely sparked our offense, sparked our energy in the dugout, and we were just able to fuel off of it. Yes, sir.
All right, Delaney, I want to ask you real quickly, even though I'm kind of editing myself here, but I want to go back to your first at-bat on Friday to lead off the game, because you put that center fielder horn at the wall on that. That thing was struck. I think if the wind probably influenced that thing, but is that an at-bat, even though you made the first out of the game, did that kind of tell you that you had a really good read on her, or what did that at-bat do for you, even though you made an out on it?
It told me that I was on time, because going out to center field, like, that's where I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go to the middle of the field. And I think it just showed me that I missed that ball just a little bit, but I knew I was on it. And I went to the dugout immediately. I said, hey, we're on her. We've seen her. We know this. We've got this. And it kind of just told me that, like, hey, I'm on time. I'm doing everything right. I just had to change my bat path just a little bit. And I had everything right except for one little, like, miss hit. But other than that, like, I was right there on it. And I thought the rest of the game was just going to be right there and easy.
Okay. Tempe, for you, going back to the game in Kennedale, you had just worked out of a jam in the top of the sixth inning. They had runners at the corners, 2 out. You get the pop out to second to end that threat. Could you feel the momentum could you guys feel the momentum just going back in your dugout after escaping that? Because it was similar to the jam you got out of the sixth on Thursday.
So definitely, we've gotten out a lot of jams. They were on me. Like, they had the timing down. We've talked about pitches before the game, and me and Coach Myers went in with a plan, and they got hits off of me, and they totally did. They were barreling balls, but I trusted in my defense to make plays, and the umpire had a pretty tight strike zone like we talked about. So we were just going in with the mindset of, I'm just going to let my defense work behind me. So I trusted them, and Kennedy Cardenas behind me making a diving catch. That changed the whole momentum of the game. The game could have been 2-2 going into the fifth inning. So the whole momentum of the defense really sparked our offense, and just like the energy we had, we just trusting in our gloves, trusting in each other. Like, I could throw something to first base and Brooklyn could have picked it. Like, I trusted in them no matter what was going to happen. I knew with runners in scoring positions, they had runners on scoring position almost every single inning. So just going into that inning, we were ready. We were ready to hit the ball, and it definitely flowed into our offense.
Okay, so these are Tempe's pitching lines from Thursday's complete game: 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 5 strikeouts. From Saturday's complete game victory: 6 innings, no runs, 4 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. And yet you felt like you felt looser on Saturday than you did on Thursday.
My arm was definitely flowing a lot smoother on Saturday than it was on Thursday. I feel like I get a little bit better over time when most pitchers are getting slower over time. I know Reagan said that she had definitely been getting tired over the innings. I mean, it was really hot. That turf was hot, and going into that, I knew that I could trust my arm and trust the fact that I had been preparing it all fall. So I wasn't worried about if I missed a pitch, because I knew my defense had me, and I definitely felt better on Saturday than I did on Thursday.
Okay, Delaney, I know we kind of talked about the team feeling confident about itself. But 2 things I want to point out, too, is that, one, obviously you guys get the 2 runs in the top of the 7th inning on Friday. That maybe kind of gives you a little bit of momentum there, because you had the 2-run double there. And then just the bus ride over to Kennedale. What was the mood like on the drive over there?
Good.
I guess I just asked a good question here, so I'm ready for this answer.
I think coming out leaving on Friday, we knew that we were better than that. Absolutely. After the game, I said, there's no way that she just threw 209 pitches in 2 games and we only had 7 hits. I said, that's not like us. We've got to change something. Me as a senior, again, I said it. I said it to the whole team. I said, if we have anything to play for us seniors. This isn't going to be our last game. And I said, if I have anything to do with it, if Tempe has anything to do with it, we're not going to play our last game. It's not going to happen. I said, it's not good that we're going to have to play someone that good round 1. But I was like, it's just how it is. It's just how it landed. But then going into Saturday, we were very hyped. I can say that. On the bus, pre-game hitting, oh yeah.
Okay.
We were ready to go. We were not going down without a fight.
Okay, so this game starts with the scoring fly ball in the 2nd inning for the first run. You go yard to make it 2-0 in the second inning, the third run in the 3rd inning. So early leads are good. As a coach, though, do you talk about, or do you not talk about the fact that if you can get the lead early in an elimination game, that really kind of changes how a team can address the rest of the ball game? Or how do you kind of approach a situation like that?
Well, you don't want to be the one chasing, for sure. So it's always just win the inning. That's what I don't tell them, hey, we don't want to be the ones chasing the run, so I don't focus on that. I just tell them we're going to win the inning, 1 inning at a time, 1 pitch at a time. So I try to keep it simple, and that you can ask them about every at bat. I'm like, we don't need heroes. Just keep it simple in your mind. It's yes until it's no when you're hitting. So I try not to focus on anything negative, especially because they tend to go negative sometimes on their own when I don't want them to. So we focus positive as much as we can.
Okay, so now on to Pascal. The Lady Panthers beat Cleburne in a one-game playoff last Friday, 2-1, also in Kennedale. So just kind of give us the early scouting report on these Code District 758 champions.
Well, you want me to be nice? Okay.
Yeah.
I will be nice. They are. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be an interesting game. We're going to have to be very disciplined at the plate, let the ball travel. We talk about that a lot. We're not going to see the same speed that we saw with Reagan Jordan, but that doesn't mean this kid doesn't have good spin and can throw us off. So we're going to be disciplined. We're not going to chase pitches out of the zone. We're going to let our pitch come in, and we're going to try to hit everything up the middle. Delaney said it, because I say it all the time too. Our goal is middle. So we're going to stay humble and try to go win a game.
All right, Delaney, how do you see this? Because obviously everything now, it's a one-game, one-week season for everybody now as you get to this. So how do you approach Wednesday night over at Saginaw Chisholm Trail?
Same way I approached the Saturday game this last weekend is just no matter what, I'm giving absolutely everything I have into every game. And knowing Pascal, I'm never going to underestimate anyone. So I'm going in like it's my last game because it could be. Any game could be my last. So I'm going to go in and fight, and I know we all will. We're all going to go and fight and get the win.
All right. Someone want to find a new head coach to flip a coin because this Myers person is killing you guys. You had two of these last year with Burleson and Amarillo, and of course you have one of these. And so, but seriously, when you get to these one-game playoffs, when it's pretty much in about 2.5 hours, you're going to know if you're going to still wear the uniform or not. So, Temper, I want to ask you what's important to kind of keep focus in a game like this when every pitch becomes a little bit more magnified, every out is a little bit more magnified, every hit, you know where I'm going with this.
It's definitely a game of inches, so we're going to take it one pitch, one play at a time, and we're not going to go in with any expectations of them because, again, anyone can win on any given day. So we're going to go in and we're just going to play our game. We're going to set the tempo and we're going to let them play our pace. We're not going to play at their pace. We're going to play at our pace and we're going to make our plays. There'll be plenty of big plays in this game, but we're just going to do it for each other. We're going to do it for our coaches who put in their time and their effort. And for us, we're just going to go in and do our best. It's just a game and it's a kid's game. We're going to have fun with it. And we're not going to set any expectations on this game. We're going to stay in. We're going to go humble, and we're going to be ready the first pitch of the first inning. Even though we're visitors, we're going to go in and we're going to be ready the first pitch. I know Delaney's going to get it rolling on the offense, and I'm behind her, and we definitely have
no pressure on that, Delaney. So it's all about you.
We have a great offense, so we're going to come out strong in the first inning, and then we're going to back it up with our defense and our energy on the defense, and we're going to roll it back into our bats. So we're just going to go in and play it one pitch at a time.
Delaney, you just mentioned it too a few moments ago, where this game is similar to Game 3 against Birdville and Kennedale because Thursday and Friday, as it turned out, didn't matter. It all came down to what happened on Saturday. So it's kind of like same mentality between these two games.
Yep, same mentality. I think we go in with what we had on Saturday into Wednesday's game, just giving everything we have. That's all we can do. Go in with great attitude, great effort, and just play our game.
All right. And then, by the way, if the Lady Cats win this game, they will move on to the regional semifinals. They will face the winner of El Paso, El Dorado, and Lubbock, Monterey. We don't know if that's a single game or a best-of-3 series out there. Are you sending scouts, or how do you kind of prepare for somebody like that? Because obviously now you're going to have some time on your hands if you are able to get through Wednesday here. But would you, if they're playing after you, would you go out there, or do you have? Okay, so you would go out there and watch that. So all that is, see, it's all done. We got it all done. So to my left is head coach Heather Myers. Tempe Perry is to my farther left, and then Delaney Rosser to my far, far left. Let's all hear it for these young ladies. And we want to remind you that this Aledo Coaches Show podcast is brought to you by H5 Sports Barn. H5 Sports Barn and Nye Physio and Performance can help you unlock your athletic potential and elevate your game like the Aledo Bearcats. With expert sports physical therapy, tailored recovery plans, and top-notch sports performance training, H5 Sports Barn, proud supporters of the Aledo Bearcats. And by Hiley Mazda. Head to Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth today. Their new state-of-the-art facility is conveniently located just off of I-30. Exit Las Vegas Trail and experience top-notch service and hassle-free buying. And don't forget to ask about this month's special offers. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth, family-owned and operated for over 30 years. Stick around. The second segment of the podcast comes your way next. We're going to be talking Bearcat baseball with Chad Berry and the gang. You're listening to the Aledo Coaches Show podcast. Back after this timeout. Welcome back to the Aledo Coaches Show podcast here at Parker County Brewing Company. I'm Kevin Lonnquist, and before we meet with Chad Berry, Landon Barnes, and Jackson Lose, let's give you a couple of Aledo notables. The Aledo boys and girls track teams are in the Class 5A Region 1 meet this Friday and Saturday in Lubbock, hoping to send a few to state in mid-May. That would be in Austin. And then Aledo's Braden Stokes has a one-shot lead in the Class 5A UIL Boys Golf State Tournament down in Austin. This is for the individual title. He carded a 6-under-66 at Legacy Hills Golf Course in Georgetown. The tournament ends on Tuesday. Again, good luck to Brayton. Hope he can find a way to make that happen down there at State. So that'd be kind of cool since he qualified out of the Region 1 tournament. He has a one-shot lead down there. Okay, pleased to be joined now by Aledo head coach Chad Berry and then Landon Barnes and Jackson Lose. And first of all, Coach, congratulations on, number one, going undefeated in District 5-5A play and reaching a milestone of 400 career wins. And I think these personal milestones, I think you appreciate them a little bit more after the season because you're in the chaos of the playoffs runs and that sort of thing. But some initial thoughts, though, of reaching that. I mean, it also shows that we're all old and that sort of thing, number one. But what else does it mean to you?
I think it says it's a testament to the program, the consistency that we've had, and a lot of really great families of players that have really supported us, and a lot of really great baseball players along the way as well, and some really exceptional assistant coaches to help me out since I've taken over.
Okay, so you all got through Granbury and Azle to finish off the 5-5A title. The Pirates pushed you, both of those games, 5-1, 7-4, and maybe that was a good thing because not all these games are going to be 9-0. So, Landon, I want to start with you on this because you guys had been cruising through the District 5-5A season pretty much. If it was 10-0 here, it was 9-1 there, sort of thing. So maybe that Granbury series was something that you needed to say, it's not going to be 9-0 every single time you step out on the field.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely knew before going into that game wasn't going to be close. That series wasn't going to be close. They have some good players. They're definitely one of the better competitions we have in our district, so I definitely think that was a difficult series, not easy.
Jackson, what did you think of that series, and what do you think you guys took out of it?
I mean, we knew going in, both going in undefeated, and both teams every year they play us close, and it's just always a fun series with them. But we knew going in that we weren't going to be able to play the same baseball that we have been playing. We had to set up our game a little bit and show them who we were and not play down to their level or anything. And I think it was just a good series to kind of wake us up and get us ready for the playoffs.
Okay, and then dare I say, I'm going to be the bad guy here so everyone can shoot me the daggers with their eyes, but maybe that following after the Granbury series, the 7-5 loss to Mansfield Lake Ridge, not the worst thing in the world for a coach to get his team's attention because that snapped a pretty long winning streak for you guys. So maybe there's a benefit, even though those Saturday games can be pretty weird because you're not playing your A lineup all the time.
For sure. It was a good kind of check yourself moment. Realize that regardless of who's on the field, we still got to go out and we've got to continue to execute. And we've got to go out and play good defense, pitch well, and hit well. And I think we got down pretty big and came back, and then actually put ourselves in with a chance to win it late, and it just didn't happen for us.
All right, Jackson, for you guys, coming through. That loss to Lake Ridge, how does that kind of get everyone's attention here? Knowing that there's more ball to play, but it's also like you're not infallible either, that sort of thing, as great as this season has been so far.
Yeah, we just knew that there was more to play, and we understood that even though going in to that game, even though it is a Saturday game, we still have to keep the same focus. And I think it was, like you said, a good wake-up call for what was ahead and a good testament to what's down the road.
Okay, so let's talk about you guys individually here, Landon. The lineup and this depth of this thing, you're hitting in the 3 spot in the order, 4 home runs, 30 RBIs. It's fun to have that kind of protection behind you in the back of the lineup at 4, 5, 6. But of course, you're protecting 1 and 2. So just what has this lineup been? What's been so fun to be a part about this lineup?
I just feel like everybody does their job. The top of our lineup, just always on base, always there to give me a job to do. And then the bottom of our lineup just gets on base and produces as well. So, I feel like everybody throughout the lineup does a great job of what they do and definitely just gets the job done.
Jackson, you're in the 8th spot at 7 RBIs, but what does this team do to kind of feed off each other, keep the line going? Because sometimes the bottom of the order can be the big run producer, or they can kickstart a rally maybe in the bottom of the second or bottom of the third or whatever the game is.
Yeah, exactly. Just throughout the lineup, it's just 1 through 9. It's just everybody knows what their job is, and they know that we got to get on base and we got to get them over. And everything we do, it's just we do it for each other, and whether that's laying a bunt down or just hitting it behind the guy and getting to third base, it's just putting runners in scoring position and allowing for more of the top of the lineup to get in there and drive the guys in. Just everybody does their job.
Okay, I was talking to Coach Barry about this, and I want to get your takes on this because you guys have over 60 triples as a team this year. I've never heard of that, or at least it was 58 at one point. I'm assuming you all got a couple more after that. But, I mean, I've never seen a season like this. Competition notwithstanding. I mean, you could start with this, Jackson, when you see the many three. That's the hardest hit in baseball is to get one of those.
Yeah, I think that goes along with, our speed and, everybody we just work hard and we just hit the ball in the gaps and find gaps, and that allows us to have a lot of extra base hits and be able to score a lot of runs every game.
Landon, what's your take on that?
I mean, yeah, I feel like most of our lineup hits for power. I mean, there's a lot of balls in the gap. We have a bunch of extra base hits, so I feel like that's a very good thing in our lineup. So, I mean, 1 through 9 all has just incredible amount of power, so I feel like that's why.
All right, Chad, coaches will sometimes say they really like the way their team is playing coming into the playoffs. Others may be a little bit more guarded. So where do you fall on that?
I definitely like what we've done to this point. We had that talk today at the beginning of practice. We talked about, I don't know that I've ever had a team in my 15 years that started out a season the way this team has started with this many wins and quality wins at that, and gained so much notoriety around the state for what they've done. But I told them that, the cautious side of me said, all of that doesn't mean anything anymore. Everybody starts 0-0 this week, and it's all about winning 2 out of every 3 each week. You got to win 2 to move on. And hopefully they, have a chance to reset, refocus, and really hone back in on the fundamentals and the skills that they've sharpened along the way that got us to this point, and so that we can continue to do the things we've been doing.
Okay, what's the sense of this team, Jackson and Landon? I mean, the goal is to try and win another one, but do you all get the sense now that there is kind of what Coach was talking about, bullseye on this team after what happened last year, big regular season this year, 28 wins, and how teams will be geared up to face you? How do you see that?
Yeah, Coach Barry says all the time that we'll always have a target on our back. We're always going to get everybody's best game, because after last year, we kind of put ourselves out there, and they know what they're getting when they step on the field with us, and nobody's gonna. We're kind of on a pedestal now, and everybody's looking up at us, and they want to beat us real bad every time we step out there. And I think just at the beginning of the season, we played some big 6A schools, and went out there and just, honestly dominated. Like, we just have to keep that same mindset of we're stepping on the field and we're going to show them how we play baseball and not step down to their level.
Okay, and then Landon, for you, again, the bullseye probably on your backs here or in your chest, however you want to define that. So what's going to be important for this team to kind of stay grounded and realize that just because we won 28 games doesn't mean we've done anything yet. We still got about 5-6 more weeks to get through.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I would just say there's definitely a bunch of noise on the outside. Everybody's saying y'all should win, y'all will do this, blah blah blah. But anything can happen in the playoffs. OL record. Coach Barry said that today at practice, and that kind of just settled in. It's anybody's ball game. Anything can happen. It's a 3-game series. So if something goes wrong, you're out. So it's not just a walk in the park like every other district game. Like, we have to really set in and work on things in practice, just small things. So, yeah.
Okay, so let's turn to Colleyville Heritage, but first the weather. Now, if you move the opener, which was slated for Thursday, to Wednesday, what's the early thinking, Chad, about how the rest of this series would be played? Because at this point, Friday doesn't look very good. Thursday actually might be the better of the 2 days. So what's kind of the early thinking right now? Well,
both head coaches, I talked to Chris McMullen over at Colleyville, and we had both said, we have to get a game in before Saturday. If we don't get a game in before Saturday, I think it turns into a 1-game series per UIL rules. And so we had decided, we don't want to get stuck trying to play a game and stopping and starting with our pitching and things like that, just because it's not good for either team to burn a pitcher and not really get to use them. So we felt like if we needed to, we'll move it to Wednesday to get the first game in, and then as long as we have a game in, Saturday already looks good. We've already said that we can play a doubleheader on Saturday if needed, and we'll play it by ear on Thursday and Friday depending on the weather.
And regardless of the weather, it would all stay at Mansfield Summit. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay. So let's talk about the Panthers a little bit more. So maybe not the best season that Chris McMullen's program has enjoyed this year. They're under 500, but of course this is a very well respected program, very successful. Of course, you guys saw them in the regional finals last year. But what do you think? And this is for all three of you. So I'm going to start with you on this, Landon, about what's different from them, from last year's regional final team, based on what you've scouted and that sort of thing.
I mean, yeah, they have good pitching, good players. I mean, like I said, anything can happen. So, I mean, we just got to keep that in account. And, I mean, anything can happen to small ball, all that type of stuff. So we just have to be mentally locked in. There's definitely going to be a crowd there. So, I mean, it's just a different environment. So we got to be ready for that.
Jackson, what about you?
I mean, Colleyville every time we play them, past 2 years we've gone a 3-game series with them, and they always play us close, and they're just a well-coached team, and we always know what we're getting out of them when we step on the field. And they lost a couple of guys last year, but I think, like we were saying earlier, it's playoffs. Anything can really happen. Everybody's 0-0, and they're going to do everything they can to go out there and show us what they can play. So
I would think, Chad, too, and this is going to be a series, too, that will get your team's attention. It isn't going to be one of those series where you think we can just kind of go through the motions and get through this series. This is one saying, like, no, you've got to be ready to play immediately.
Yeah, their record can be deceiving for the simple fact of you look at the teams that they're playing in their district. They have to play Grapevine, they play Argyle, they play Birdville, perennial powerhouses. And so they go through a gauntlet just to make the playoffs. And so by the time they get to the playoffs, you can take their record and throw it out the window because they're battle tested. They've gone through the gauntlet. They know how to play tight games. They know how to win close games, and so they'll be ready to go.
Okay, and by the way, and I scoured your whole season worth of games, and I double-checked it, but I hope I didn't miss one. But you really didn't play anyone in your region during the non-district season during the tournaments. I think maybe Argyle you saw, but that was about it. I mean, I don't know if that was by design or if that was just the way it turned out, but I just found that part ironic about your schedule.
Well, with us going 6A next year, we try to play as many of the larger schools that we can. The scheduling for the tournaments, I think we played Lubbock Cooper in a tournament, and maybe one other 5A school, Abilene Wiley, early in the year.
Yes, Wiley,
But I think they both are small schools, so they're going Division II. So I don't really think we've played anybody else outside of the scrimmage against Colleyville early in the year that we would come across in our region, besides possibly Birdville. We played on the Saturday.
Right. Oh, that's right. You did have Birdville. That's right. And Birdville's playing Granbury this week, too. And that's ironic because those two actually saw each other in March in a Tuesday game. That was during one of Granbury's bye weeks. And so they actually played them already. And so, okay, you, Landon and Jackson, you guys kind of talked about this a few moments ago about those series with Colleyville Heritage. But is there anything you guys can draw from those two experiences with the Panthers that maybe you can push forward and help you for this series that's coming up? I'll start with you on this.
I mean, yeah, they have a great pitching staff. We're going to have to stay disciplined at the plate. They definitely have pitchers that are way more developed than we have seen in the district play, so we're just kind of trying to get used to that, way faster pitching. So work on things like that at practice, just leading up to it. We saw great pitching from them last year, great hitters, so we're kind of just expecting the same thing, want to be fully prepared for that.
All right, and then Jackson, what about you?
Like I said earlier, they're really well coached, and their coach has been there before, and he knows what it takes to win those big games. And like Lennon was saying, that their pitching staff's really good, and they're going to figure out a way to win. And I think that they're a team that can take advantage of our little mistakes, and that's just playoff baseball in general, is just taking advantage of the little mistakes. And we just have to hone in on those in practice and just make sure that we're sharp leading into the playoffs.
I would think, too, that their velocity out of that staff is going to be better than what you saw in District 5, 5A. So I'm going to start with you on this, Landon, about how you have to kind of prepare yourself for that, because I'm sure you were probably seeing low to mid 80s for most, with the exception of a pitcher here and there, but for most of the District 5, 5A series. But here at Heritage, where they play great ball up there, you're probably going to get a lot more middle to upper 80s, maybe a couple guys 90, 91, 92, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of where those 6A games at the start of the season, those tournament games kind of help us out so we can just kind of see where we are or at with that type of pitching. So, I mean, we did great off that type of pitching in the start of the year, so hopefully it just keeps going. Definitely have to get used to it again after all this district play, but I think we'll be just fine.
All right, Jackson.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely a big change going from our district and the pitching that we're seeing, but like in practice, we turned up the machine a little bit today and saw a little bit more velo, and then also we throw live ABs during practice that'll get us a better look of what we might be seeing going into that week and prepare us a little bit better for exactly what we'll be seeing.
All right. It's been a bizarre trend in these last two postseason series meetings with the Panthers. Lose the first one, win the last two. Not the formula that you want, but it's worked. And so I just want to ask you, what do you want to see from your team starting potentially Wednesday, and then if you have to go on Saturday with one or maybe two?
I think we got to come out sharp. I think we got to come out ready to play. We can't wait around to draw first blood if the opportunity presents itself. I think the faster we get on track and the faster we can put some runs on the board, the more we can start to put pressure on them. And they still have a great pitching staff, but they have a lot of young, inexperienced fielders who weren't on the field last year for them in positions. And so the faster we can turn the pressure up and the heat up on them, I think the better opportunity we're going to have to force them into some mistakes. So we got to start strong and fast.
All right, guys, what's going to be important for you all? You heard what Coach just said. So is it about execution? Is it about not making the moment too big? How do you see this is for both of you. Jackson, you start first.
Yeah, I think, like you said, just not making the moment too big and just being where our feet are and understanding, like, everybody has their role. And if you do your role, we can go out there, and we're talented enough and good enough. If we just do your role, we'll go out there and we will win. Like, that's just the baseball that we play. And no matter who they put in front of us, as long as we do our thing and play our game, I think everything will just fall into place.
All right, then Landon, for you.
I would just say everybody doing their job, like I said earlier. I mean, everybody in this lineup is an impact player. They can make big plays in big moments. I feel like everybody's ready to go. So, I mean, yeah, just doing jobs, doing the small things, that'll definitely win you games for sure. All
right. And should Aledo win, it would move on to the area round next week to face either Pascal or Cleburne, kind of following the pattern of what the softball's doing right now. Chad Berry, Landon Barnes, Jackson Lewis, thank you very much for your time. Good luck to you all this week. And I'll see you guys Wednesday or Thursday, depending on where we got. So I'll be texting you on Tuesday to find out where we're at. Good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
All right. And we do want to remind you that this Aledo Coaches Show podcast is brought to you by H5 Sports Barn. H5 Sports Barn and iPhysio and Performance can help unlock your athletic potential and elevate your game like the Aledo Bearcats. With expert sports physical therapy, tailored recovery plans, and top-notch sports performance training, H5 Sports Barn, proud supporters of the Aledo Bearcats. And by Hiley Mazda. Head to Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth today. Their new state-of-the-art facility is conveniently located just off of I-30. Exit Las Vegas Trail and experience top-notch service and hassle-free buying. And don't forget to ask about this month's special offers. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth, family-owned and operated for over 30 years. Don't forget to tune into ntxvarsitysports.com for Aledo Lady Cat playoff softball against Pascal and playoff baseball against Colleyville Heritage. One starts on Wednesday, maybe the other one will start on Wednesday, but the pregame show for each will start 15 minutes before the first pitch. So if it's softball, it'll be 6:45 for a 7 o'clock pitch. For baseball, it would be 7:15, at least for Wednesday or Thursday for a 7:30 first pitch. And remember, softball is one game. Baseball is the best of 3 series. So for my engineer, Bryce Andrus, and the Hank FM staff, thanks for being with us here at Parker County Brewing Company. We will continue to talk playoff baseball and softball next week. I'm Kevin Lonnquist, and so long for the Aledo Coaches Show podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Aledo Coaches Show podcast, brought to you by H5 Sports Barn in Aledo and Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. With the voice of the Bearcats, Kevin Lonnquist. Please like and subscribe to this podcast and tell a friend. You're also welcome to join us every Monday night at 7 from Parker County Brewing Company in Willow Park. It's the Aledo Coaches Show podcast, a presentation of Real Country 92.1, Hank FM, and NTXVarsitySports.com.